When your Jeep falls off of a cliff, it's now a salvage title. When you fail at impersonating Ken Block, yeah, that ain't gonna buff out. Salvaged. Try putting premium in your Tesla? Well, the car keeps a clean title, but man, where are the stupid police when you need them? Admit it, we've all been there. It's late, you're browsing Copart while watching Hoovie's Ferrari burn to the ground. Or B is for Build's crazy enough to attempt to resurrect a GTR that doesn't have a straight panel on it. And you start thinking, I could buy some salvage title car and have my dream car for cheap. I know, we have all been there, but I've never acted on my deepest desires to snag an irresistible deal on a salvage title car. So, should you buy a car with a branded title? Well, what's up guys? I'm Brad Danger, and today let's take a look at the risks and potential huge rewards that come from buying a salvage title car. But to start out, let's make sure that we're all on the same page. What is a salvage title? Well, simply put, a car gets a salvage title when an insurance company decides that your car is garbage.
Garbage!
Well, more specifically, it's when the cost to fix a car is more than the car is actually worth. So let's say that you have an old Miata named Bolt. Bolt has been an amazing car, and you get into an accident that just rips her fender off. Your insurance might say that it costs $5,000 to fix up Bolt, but because she has been driven hard and put away wet, your ratty ride is only worth $4,000, which means, boom, it's totaled. If you decide to keep it, the title of the car will reflect that it's been totaled by becoming salvage title. And if you sell it, that salvage title goes with it, as long as you're not scamming someone, which happens way more often than it should. I hate scammers, so always check the physical title before you buy a car. Don't just take their word for it. I've had it happen to me, and I never want it to happen to you. And if you're buying a salvaged vehicle, that means the insurance company at some point in the car's life didn't think that it was worth it to fix. Here's the thing though, and it's absolutely what makes looking at buying a salvage car so appealing.
It's beautiful.
There are a ton of ways a car can actually be totaled, and some of them are easy as hell to fix. Since a salvage title has more to do with how much a vehicle is worth than it does how much a car is actually damaged, it's just kind of a roll of the dice. For example, an E90 BMW M3 is worth $25,000 all day, and it might be a salvaged if it has severe frame damage, which the insurance will total the car for. Or it might have had an engine fire, which will absolutely total the car. Or because, well, BMW, it might just need an engine overhaul. And the price for a mechanic to fix it is more than $20,000, which means that if you can fix it yourself, cha-ching, you get an awesome deal on an ideal ride. But, well, you aren't fixing the frame, are you? And unless you're willing to do a ton of preliminary work before you buy a salvage car, there's really no way of knowing how much damage a totaled car has sustained. And that's not all. There are some big risks beyond the condition of the car. First off, it's not exactly convenient for anyone. There are very few financing options for a salvaged car. It's not like any bank is willing to risk lending you money for something that may have been on fire. So you pretty much are stuck paying cash. And it's not exactly easy to find them either. Online marketplaces like Craigslist, which there are quite a few options there, but buyer beware. Then there's shady dealers that will list salvage title cars and sometimes wipe the title clean. And that is definitely a felony, but they are definitely out there, so keep an eye out for that. Or you got auction sites like Copart, and that's pretty much your only options. So in other words, if you want a salvage car, be prepared for a ton of work to not only find an example worth purchasing, but even more work for when after you bought it. Because after an insurance company totals a vehicle, they don't want to insure it anymore, or they just want to charge you a ton, which if you ask me, makes total sense. I mean, since by the definition, an insurance company has already written off a salvage car, they aren't going to be eager to do it again. Finally, there's the problem that selling a salvage car is hard. People like you and the Goon Squad might be in the market for one, but the average person sees it as pretty much the biggest red flag there is. That means their value is tanked. Good if you want to buy, but it can sting a lot. Let me give you a real world example. My buddy bought a salvaged 370Z, and values of a salvage car can go between 10 and 50% of an equivalent clean title example. So here's a 370Z that you can buy for 28,000 bucks with a clean title. And my buddy bought this one for 10% of that. At 2,800 bucks, that's been hit and not repaired. So he snagged a hell of a deal, or so he thought. Then you gotta repair it. And remember, repair costs are the same whether the car is a clean title or a salvage. So wheels and tires were $2K. Aftermarket body panels for every panel on the car, $8K. New windows, $1,500. Airbags, yeah, you gotta have protection, $1,000. Paint, $3,000. Labor, yeah, you know, doing all the work yourself is not actually free, right? But if you had to pay somebody to do all the work, you're looking at between $8,000 and $10,000 in labor costs. Now, you can sell that for roughly 70% with a rebuilt title after it gets an inspection, which means that you could ask $19,600. If you add up all the numbers that I just mentioned that go into rebuilding that car, you're at $18,300 invested into the Z without including labor. So if you get your asking price, you maybe make $1,300.
$1,300, final offer. Oh, excuse me, I got a little warm there.
My guesstimate to bring the car up to roadworthy conditions, it's gonna take you about 200 man-hours. So you would get paid $6.50 per hour to fix up this car. Minimum wage here in Seattle is $15 per hour. So you'd be better off working flipping burgers at McDonald's for minimum wage and buying a clean title instead. Because guess what? 370Zs are appreciating right now. And that's one of the main things that we look at in the ideal car strategies. Plus, without fail, the quote unquote fixed up Z, since he decided to keep it, was always acting up with some electrical or mechanical gremlin that nickel and dimed him to death faster than his ex-girlfriend. So, with all those downsides, how can you tell if it's worth it for you? Because there are a few people in this world that should consider a salvaged car. And I'm curious if you're one of them. So first off, if you're not willing to grab a wrench and get dirty, then just stop. The only way a salvage car is worth buying is if you can fix it for less than someone else, right? If you're just gonna pay a mechanic to fix it, then by the definition of it being totaled, you will be spending more than you would on a nice clean title car. Number one then is that you need to have a mechanical aptitude and the space to fix up a car. Second, you can't care about the fact that chances are the car will never be worth anything. That can mean one of two things. First, and this ties into understanding the ideal car strategies, which I'll link to down in the description, and you can check out the free sneak peek into the curriculum that I'll teach you how to buy clean title cars and make money enjoying them. And like I said earlier, is that it's about cars that have already depreciated a lot already and hit the depreciation valley. Not only does that lead to a way better deal than buying a salvage car, but it means that the resale value is already at its bottom and you're not gonna really get hurt. Or, and this could be totally legitimate, you want a car that will be a project car for you and you just don't care about what it might be worth later. Either way, just be aware that you aren't going to get your money back. And so before you buy a salvage car, go through and do some napkin math, like I gave you my example of my buddy's 370Z, and make sure that the lemons are worth the squeeze. Finally, you have to have the cash to buy the car and pay for the parts. And remember, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If it was super easy to buy a wrecked GTR like B is for Build off the internet and fix it up for cheap, everyone and their mom would be doing it. The truth is though, that fixing a supercar is stupid expensive. So if you're thinking that you can go into it without any money and just magically put it together, stop. You will need cash to make it happen. That's if you want to drive the car around. You need knowledge, time, and cash. Or there's actually a totally different reason to buy a salvage car. You need parts. Building a kit car? Grab a salvage car as a donor. Building up a base model Corvette? Grab a wrecked Z06 for upgrades. Already have a totaled car? Get another one that's destroyed in a different way and put the two together and you have gold, baby. Okay, but seriously, should the average person buy a salvage car? No. It falls into the if you have to ask, you're not ready kind of category. If you're really interested though, keep on watching Trav and keep in touch with people that fix cars. Plus, projects can be fun and sometimes you can't put a dollar amount on experiences. So let us know down below in the comments what category you fall into for salvage cars. Personally, I wouldn't touch one with a 10-foot pole, but there are a few of you cheeky enthusiasts out there that would, and I want to meet you. So let us know in the comments below what you think. Also, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and if you enjoyed this vid, check out Trav's video about VTech, because you know you want to. All right, I've been Brad, this has been Ideal, and promise me one thing, keep living the ideal lifestyle.